Hello, my name is Gary Mansfield, and this is the Ministry of Arts podcast, where each week I'll be speaking to a different artist. Now let's begin by bagging these bongos.
Yeah, right. Crazy.
Hello, and welcome to episode 252 of the Ministry of Arts podcast. Firstly, as ever, thank you to our Patreon supporters and those of you who go over to our merch shop and buy our wares. Without you both, we would not be able to produce this podcast. And if you'd like to do either, there will be a message at the end telling you how to do so. Well, this week I'm taking you to meet Mark McGowan, aka the Artist Taxi Driver, aka Chunky Mark, and many other AKAs. And I have to be honest, I didn't realise for some reason that the Artist Taxi Driver was a persona. I thought it was just Mark's Instagram handle because he was a taxi driver and an artist. So I was expecting this loud, brash, excitable person and got quite the opposite really. Well, this episode will be out on the 3rd of June, and Mark's installation, The Live Lounge, at the Bethlehem Gallery, closes on, I think, the 13th. You would have heard me speak of the Bethlehem Hospital several times on this podcast, and within the main building, on the lower level, is the Bethlehem Gallery. Upstairs is the Museum of the Mind, which is where I helped Alison Lapper create her installation for her exhibition Lost in Paris, which was with Rankin and Mark Quinn. So I know the galleries very well and visit quite often. Each time I did visit the installation for some housekeeping, I would go in the exhibition downstairs. And Mark's installation, The Live Lounge, I can honestly say, is like none before it. On the occasional episode, I give a trigger warning if we are speaking of a sensitive subject. This episode has several, because Mark has had quite an eventful life with plenty of ups and downs. So Mark speaks about his association with Bethlehem Hospital, which is the world's oldest mental health hospital. So he speaks of severe mental health issues, mainly brought on via drug and alcohol dependency and addiction. And he also speaks very openly about his mum's dementia, which in some points is as heartwarming as it is heartbreaking. He reads a beautiful poem, which I've attached to the end of this episode. So just as you think it's over, keep listening and you will hear a beautiful poem that Mark has written about his mum's treasures. I'd like to thank Tom from the Proper Mental podcast for the introduction. And Mark, happy birthday for your 60th on the 10th, and I hope you enjoy the party you've got in store. So please come and join me as I spoke to Mark McGowan, the Artist Taxi Driver. Hey, hello fella, how are you? Good to see you. Yeah, it's very a bit quiet and quite echoey. Hold on, I might have to turn my computer up.
How's that? Is that better, Gary?
That's so much better, mate. How are you? Good?
Yes, I've got you now. Just put you
There you go.
turning off the microphone. Oh, and I saw you at Jeremy Deller the other day.
Yeah, he's cool, isn't he?
Yeah, because he did this whole show that I went to see at the Barbican where he collected lots of art made in prison.
He's got a lot to do with that charity that I spoke of, Cursor Arts.
Yeah, he's really cool. He does like, he collects like folk art and banners and things, isn't he?
Well, what he done as well, which I can't salute him enough for it. When he was at the Venice Biennale in, I think it was 2012, would it have been? He took a load of ex-prisoners out there with him to sort of help him with the show, or to be a part of it, you know?
Fantastic.
How good is that?
Yeah,
it's
that's
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've got to say that there's an image behind you with a white circle, and at the moment it looks like you've got a halo on your head.
Yeah, that's a record. And there's a double bass there as well. Can you see the double bass?
I see it.
So I'm in the back. Oh, yeah.
Well, before I even start asking the questions, I've got to say, that I went down to the Bethlehem Gallery last week.
Oh, cool.
And it was the morning of your opening. So before it had even opened, I'd sort of had a little look around, you know. But we'll come to that later on.
Right.
I have several questions, Mark, that I ask each artist. And the first is, how would you explain what you do to someone that didn't know your work?
I mean, it's really difficult, primarily because it's kind of like I work across a lot of different mediums.
Yeah.
There's always a struggle with talking about art and medium. So, like, as a performance artist, I always consider myself primarily a performance artist. I do the Artist Taxi Driver, but I crawl along the streets, push peanut with my nose. I've done lots of different types of performance, and you know, a lot of people find it very difficult to connect with performance art. So someone does something stupid and they say, "Oh, is that a bit of performance art?" And it is kind of like, even in the context of the art world, it is a bit of a novelty. It's like the lava lamp, you know.
Yeah, I love that. Love
Yeah,
that explanation of it.
I remember like coming out of like Extinction Rebellion in the center of Trafalgar Square. These women came out, called themselves the Earth Mothers.
Yeah.
They were doing this kind of like earth dance, which was quite ritualistic. You know, it's very eccentric, very English, and you know, lots of sort of like Morris dance in that. Yeah, people were just laughing. Do you know what I mean? They put it on the Twitter or whatever. They got like 9.8 million views going, "Look at these fucking nutters." And it was like, what are they doing? But that's kind of like, because performance art cannot be read. It's not very linear. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you have a story or a film or like a song or everything that starts as a beginning and end. Like, performance art's often quite difficult to read. You know, and that can be said about a lot of art as well, and a lot of people that make art. You know, some things are easier. You know, historical art is quite difficult. It's quite easier to read. You know, it's a lot easier to read. You know, Renaissance and things, and then you get to sort of like minimalism. People went, "Wow, it's just a pink triangle. It's a pink square. It's a blue canvas. What's that?
Yeah.
What does that even mean?" I mean, take minimalism for instance. That was born out of like the Vietnam War. That was American art's response to like an absolutely horrific war. Was to get very reductive and just paint, like Rothko, you know, like just paint these kind of, so it is. I mean, if I had to say to someone, what do you do? You know, I was like a heroin addict on the streets of Peckham. They went through like drug treatment and like mental hospitals and ended up in art college, and they said, no, you can do whatever you want to do. I'm like, no way. Because you got it framed as
Roll your sleeves up.
Yeah.
Like, let's crack on with this.
I know, because it's quite a thing to say to someone, because you kind of like framed in the context of, you know, this whole kind of like bastion, this institution of even the word art or the art world.
Yeah.
You can use that in your endeavors to try and carry messages, you know, tell people extraordinary things, you know, like, you know, quite often, you know, just by like words or creating, I paint the front page of the newspapers. I say like, oh, I've rearranged the letters on the front page of the Daily Mail, and I wrote like, from out of their anus. And everyone's saying like, do you know what I mean? That's a good message, because it's shit talking. Do you know what I mean? People But it's extraordinary, the things that you can come up with, the ideas that you can have. It's a joy. It's a privilege as well. It's like being on your podcast. Do you know what I mean? Or podcast in general, like having that platform. You know, to me, that's like that's a really big privilege. This whole thing's like the internet. We've grown up with like, we just used to have. We didn't have all this growing up, so it's very difficult to have our stories told, or you know, to be allowed the space to tell them.
Yeah.
Sitting in the middle of like this room in the world's oldest mental health hospital, the Bethlehem, it's nearly 800 years old. They gave me this room. I could have done anything with it. I created this live lounge. I got sofas, rugs, wall hangings, microphones. I built a stage with 2 pallets I nicked from outside Top Tiles in Bromley. You know what I mean? It's literally 2 pallets and called it a stage. People come and stand on that
Yeah.
and sing their hearts out. Do you know what I mean? And perform. It's like, you know, it's a screen. It's a frame for people to come and make art. It's fucking beautiful. You know,
Yeah.
it's really, really nice. It's an extraordinary opportunity, you know. We've made a record as well, so we just had we got it delivered yesterday, and this
Brilliant.
is I'm just showing Gary the album, and it's like 22 people from the Bethlehem community. It's their sounds and their voices, and we've got a guy called Gowan Hewitt who just got a Brit as well, and we've made a record. Quite very fucking weird, mate. Honestly, if you're struggling with performance art, you're going to go, "What the fuck is that about?" The album Off the Clock is very experimental.
What we'll do, as we're on this subject, I'll jump forward quite a lot, then we'll come back to the past later on, if you don't mind. Now, I knew of the Bethlehem Gallery and the Museum of the Mind and the Bethlehem Hospital, which is all one thing in one place, but the gallery and the Museum of the Mind are in the same building. You're in the gallery, which is downstairs, and I went there first time maybe, I don't know, 6-7 months ago. I don't know if have you been upstairs?
Yes, I have.
Alison Lapper has taken over the upstairs of the Museum of the Mind, and it's to do with her the loss of her son Paris when he was 19. It's one of the most emotive shows I've ever seen, and she's joined in her exhibition by Rankin and Mark Quinn. Rankin has done a couple of portraits, and Mark has done a couple of sculptures, one of which is a maquette, if you like, or a smaller version of that which was on the 4th plinth. And I worked with Ali creating the installation in the boardroom there. During that time, I've seen maybe 4 exhibitions in the gallery space downstairs. And every month or so, I go up to the exhibition space upstairs just to make sure all is good, and always pop into the gallery space downstairs. Well, normally it's a very formal gallery space with, you know, with work in there, on show, white walls. And it was as if I'd sort of gone into a little time warp into, if you don't mind me saying, it looks like a squat in the 90s.
Yes, we like that idea. They don't like me calling it a squat, but yeah, it looks like a squat.
And
yeah, I did. I met Alison the other day. Yeah, her that exhibition is like, you know, there's a lot of pain in this place, and you know, if there wasn't enough pain, there's so much pain in that show. And I did say to her the other day, you know, I respect her so much as an artist to actually go out and produce that, put that together. You know, to you know, that's carrying a message to people. You know, that's very bare, and yeah, it's so powerful. Yeah, I mean, the whole this whole place is extraordinary, and so the gallery itself is, you know, anyone that considers themselves part of the Bethlehem community, it's here to represent them. So that's the primary purpose of it, and it's really cool. They got like, you know, Sophie's here, the manager, and Amanda and Jackie, and it's really well supported. And so you've got lots of people actually, you know, still in the hospital who are coming in every day into the workshop, making art, producing art. You know, it's a vital part of a lot of people's recovery. And to get that support, because, you know, tens of thousands of people have been through SLAM. So it's like, Bethlehem and also the South London and Maudsley Trust. It's a really big thing. So there's tens of thousands of people been through, and there is always going to be a certain amount of people that consider themselves artists, and the gallery's here to support those people, which is really, really cool. They say jails, death, you know, and mental hospitals. But yeah, there's recovery. There's recovery, and that's like part of the process of that recovery for me. Was through being at the Bethlehem, was doing like art therapy and like it changed my life. Becoming an artist, coming to this place actually changed my life.
And what was your introduction to that?
So I was here a couple of times over in the corner over there. It's like a detox unit, Wickham Park House. I was here a few times. I was under the Maudsley for about 12 years on like a methadone script, but never really engaged with art or anything like that. It wasn't until I was actually institutionalized, and like, you start fucking programming your day, you're fucking clacking. The last thing you want to do is be going off to ceramics, everyone's vomiting, blankets, sweating. Let's go ceramics. Oh.
Yeah, you're sitting in the corner gouging out
Yeah.
while they want you to sit on the wheel.
People with like massive fucking abscesses on the inside of their thigh. Come on, it's woodwork. We're in woodwork this afternoon. Pastel drawing. Yeah, but I did. And I moved on from here. I went into like Thurston House in Clapham.
Yeah.
So I was there for about, I can't remember, 6 months, 9 months.
What year are we talking, Mark?
That was like 98, 99.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I did, Gary, I got fucking 22 years, like clean and sober and like fucking. And then about 2 years ago, I had a relapse and ended up like out for about 2 years, like smashing myself to pieces again.
What was the trigger, Mark? If you don't have to answer, but what
I can't
was
remember
the trigger?
actually. I think it was sort of like relationships. It was COVID. It was like fucking
just loads of little bits piling on.
I smelled a fact. The trigger was like I smelled a joint, and I said, "Oh, like that." And I got the number for the dealer, and it was like COVID. And I said, like, "Yeah, can I pay?" I just wanted a little bit, Gary. I only wanted a fucking couple of joints. He said, "No, mate." He's like young kid, about like 20. He said, "No, mate, I'm doing ounces." I said, "Oh, fucking hell. Go on then. That'll last me about a fucking month, that will." And I can't even remember how much it was. It was like 180 quid for like an ounce. Come round and it was like fucking, it was all over. It was gone in a week. I was like back on it. So, started drinking. I was like drinking fucking so much and got in real trouble, like got really depressed, contemplating suicide. So then last July, I walked into like the Bromley alcohol and drug unit and just sitting in a room again with loads of fucking addicts. It's not the fucking Priory. It's like street.
He's just walking.
Yeah, bandaged heads, tagged. Everyone's like half the people got tags on their ankles. Like people, I was saying this on the other day, like people drinking hand sanitizer.
I've seen it.
Because it's like that gel one is really expensive to produce. It's all perfumes and that. So they just like raw alcohol, like 70% proof. That's like a really good hand sanitizer. Every hospital, they got like fucking where the things are.
Like a water fountain.
Yeah. But it's deadly. It'll kill you, that stuff. Do you know what I mean? I was still going there for about 2 months, still using.
Yeah.
And then I stopped using at the end of September, just gone. And still in therapy though, still going to like therapy, which is really, really good.
But it just goes to show, mate, that even though you was clean for 22 years, it's just a phone call away.
Yeah. The worst thing is you always think, or you imagine, oh, I'll just have one and that. No, it's that first day.
Yeah.
You've all bought an ounce and you've been round and you bought a bottle of vodka. It was Deliveroo. You just phoned Deliveroo and you're absolutely like smashed to pieces, and then you go right back to where you left.
Yeah.
It's not like you go back to the beginning. You go back to, like, I remember the first day I walked into the fucking door frame and I had a cut on my eyebrow and I didn't even know, like, do you know what I mean? It's just like swelling up. But it's people, people are like, I'm an addict. Do you know what I mean? It's really difficult for me to change. That's why I paint a lot, and I do performances and I do my Artist Taxi Driver videos. So I become obsessed with them. That's my addiction. Making art is my addiction.
You mentioned about you was told that art could be anything and you could create anything. Where did you go from there? What was your introduction into the art world? Although you sort of sneaked in through the toilet window, if you like.
Yes. Yeah, they don't like I always think they don't really like me. And it's really funny. So just on that, hold on one sec.
Go on.
So I went to that show that we talked about before, Jeremy Deller. So it was all this prison art, and then one of it was about a tap dripping. So the guy or the woman had written drip, 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 and it was like this poem handwritten on this piece of paper, drip, drip, and they'd done a tiny picture of a tap, if I remember, and a little drip. So afterwards, everyone was chatting. Jeremy did a talk. We were all chatting, and I said, "Oh, that reminds me, because I did this piece, Running Tap, where I just turned the tap on." I called the show The Running Tap, and it was in the middle of the drought, July 2005. And people were fucking epileptic. They were going, "What the fuck?" So the tap is running for a year. So anyway, I'm at the show with Jeremy, and I said, "Oh, that reminds me of," I think he didn't hear me say "my," and I said, "That reminds me of like my Running Tap piece." And it'd been all in the news. It was on the main news. And he went, "Oh, I fucking hate that guy." Yeah. Why is he doing it? It's all for it's like, you know, it's terrible. And I was listening, and I was just thinking, oh, because I'm with a group of people, two of them know who I am. There was Joe and Rachel there. And I was, oh God. I could see their faces, and I went, no, Jamie, me, like that.
And how was he with that?
Oh, he said, "Oh, you can make better art than that." Do you know what I mean? I don't know. Yeah, it was funny. I quite like the moment. I like retelling the story, because it's like a really funny thing when things like that happen. Yeah. No, he's a really good guy. I really like him a lot. Amazing artist.
Terrible critic.
Yeah, so like the whole stuff, I was critiquing the media. I got like so much work on the telly, but I just wanted to be on the telly, and I reclaimed the work and showed like videos, and I was interested in interventions. I'm interested in like putting wedges between things. Even like the Artist Taxi Driver is a performance, and that's where schizophrenia comes in as well, because I'll never fucking know when to switch off. Who's Mark and who's the taxi driver? And the taxi driver is like, he's got glasses on, and he's this kind of South London, quite cockney talking, like cab driver. I was a cab driver like 30 years ago. I was a cab driver in like Peckham, Barry Cars, did couriering, but like basically it's all art. Do you know what I mean? I see it as art, and very, like, again, intervention. It's a critical fine art practice into like me. So even like all my work has had the media. We've got the fucking big kickoff now with the Tories and the Labour going to like go to the general election. So that's all going to be like fodder for my art. Do you know what I mean? I'm going to be making.
As if you can never let go of the Artist Taxi Driver, innit? Because they're just giving you so much in the last few years. They're just feeding him, aren't they?
Yeah.
Right, Mark, which piece that you've created has got the strongest emotional connection to you or others, do you think?
Well, I just did this poem. So I've been writing lots of poetry. I got one of my books here. So this is like Smoking Drugs and Other Poems. And so I've been writing a lot recently. I'm part of a writing group at Bethlehem. But I've written this poem, and it's a poem. It's called "What's Going to Happen to All My Stuff When I Die." It's prompted by something Mum said. Mum's got Alzheimer's and dementia now. And seriously, I'm thinking about moving in with her, Gary, because it's getting really desperate now, and she's really not that well. And this poem, which is really quite sad, which is Mum asking me what's going to happen to all her stuff, and she's talking about her. I talk about it in the poem. Her table and chairs that she bought from Jones and Higgins, that she paid off, that she's still got. All of her little trinkets. And we were talking about it in a writing group, and I remember they were saying like, what's going to happen to all your stuff is it goes down Deptford Market and it becomes like bric-a-brac.
Yeah.
And But it's Siobhan Mooney. She said it was no, it was Kim. Kim said it was her auntie used to say it's poor people's treasure.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's right, isn't it?
So, like, when I read this poem, it really connects with people because everyone kind of thinks about their own family, and they also, you know, think about themselves, and, you know, all these things, all these they're not even material things. Do you know what I mean? 90% of the stuff you have in your house is fucking useless. Do you know what I mean? It's just bump, isn't it? Like, there's some
nostalgic, yeah.
yeah, there's some really important stuff in there. Yeah, mum's like, you know, she's worried about dad's Arsenal shirt that he's got framed, which is signed by Arsene Wenger and Thierry Henry. Who's gonna look after dad's shirt? Yeah, it is sad. And
How long is it?
Yeah,
is it too long to read on here?
you can go online and look at it. I mean,
yeah. Oh no, I was going to say I'll put it on at the end.
Okay, all right, then I'll read it.
Are you all right with that? I don't want to.
Yeah. It'll take like 3 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah, mum's got the Alzheimer's and dementia, Gary. She's like, you know, she's forgetting things. She's forgetting who people are, and she's scared as well.
Yeah, I lost my dad just a couple of weeks ago. This is going to sound quite cold. I had nothing to do, or very little to do with him for a very long time. And I was speaking to my brother who has lived with him all of his life. You know, he meant everything to him, but he meant less to me, as awful as that sounds. And just listening to my brother saying, like, what he's going to do with his dad's possessions, and would I like anything? And it was quite a conflicting thing because he'd never been in my life, and it'd be a bit strange for me having a part of him, a possession of his, in my life to remind me of the person that wasn't there. You know?
Yeah, it's tough stuff. But, yeah. Oh, you know, I'm sorry for your loss, and also sorry for, like, you know, that's hard, and these are our lives as well.
Yeah.
It's like, you know, because I can see mum, it's like coming to the end, do you know what I mean? And I just think, oh, poor thing. And she was saying to me the other day, she'd clearly forgotten. She keeps forgetting things. And then, you know, she gets these moments of realizations that she's actually losing her mind, losing her memories, but also losing her ability to even acknowledge things. She goes to say something and she can't remember what, and then she catches herself knowing that she can't remember, and that's when she said that she's scared.
Yeah. And it's at that point, Mark, that you almost want it to hurry up so that she doesn't have those little bits of pain. And you think you may move in with her?
Yeah, I'm thinking of it. Like, we had some discussion the other day with the siblings, and that none of them are in the position to do it, but I am. Do you know what I mean? And it's quite a big decision. But I'm thinking about doing it in the next couple of months, maybe in a couple of months' time. Because things happen in the community. You know, once you tell the doctors that, or, you know, she goes for assessments and that, you know, there's other options are for her to go into a home. And I promised her that I wouldn't, or she said, whatever you do, you know, obviously loads of people got different experiences, and, you know, for some people it's the right thing, but she really doesn't want to go. She really doesn't want to. We have to just wait and see now. It's my birthday. I'm 60 soon. In a couple of weeks.
When's that?
In 10th of June.
And what are you going to do to celebrate?
We got a festival in the gallery in the grounds on the 8th of June, which basically is going to be my birthday party festival.
Brilliant.
So I'll just tell everyone this is my birthday party festival. It's really mad because it takes some really clever people. Because I did this, I had to give out the the degrees for University of the Arts London. It's Camberwell, Chelsea, St Martin's. So we went up to Central Hall in Westminster, and all the families are there. Because I was like the one that was giving out the degrees, I had to do the speech that you get like 20 minutes to do like a speech thing.
A set.
Yeah. I did. My whole talk was about Jose Mourinho. So when he manager of Porto, which was, he took them, it's the smallest club ever to win the Champions League, and he took them all the way to the final and won. But a couple of weeks before, he signed for Chelsea, and when he went up to get his medal, he just took his medal off and put it in his pocket and walked off. He couldn't celebrate. And I was trying to tell everyone, you know, celebrate today, you know, celebrate your achievements, you know. This is what I got this from just talking about my birthday. But, you know, it's like when we have these moments, it's really important that we don't kind of dismiss them, you know, whether they're landmarks or whether they're sort of like birthdays or, you know, Christmas or whatever it is, or, you know, yeah, holiday. It's difficult to celebrate or anything that you achieve that you think, oh, I've fucking done that, you know. Oh, I fucking hate it. Do you know, I was out the other week and then there was like this punk band playing. They were so good. And I was just really enjoying it. I was really internalizing. I thought it was like the best thing. I was like going, this is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And this guy says to me, like, why are you always so fucking grumpy? Why don't you cheer up? When someone says that, really, I just think, the fuck? This is me loving it.
Imagine when I am grumpy.
Yeah. It's weird.
If there was you and 5 other artists, past and present, what would your ideal group show be?
Oh, God. Who would be in it?
Yeah.
Well, there's a few people that I think are like closer friends as well. But there's this guy, right? His name's Alexander Brenner. So basically, I was doing this talk at the ICA, and there's Stuart Home, who writes books, German woman, doctor, philosopher, Stuart Brisley, the godfather of performance art, and it was extreme curating. And during the talk, this guy stood up, he come to the front of the stage, there's 300 people in the room, drops his trousers, put his hands between his legs, and did a massive shitter in his hands. And he walked up to the platform, it's only like, it was like about 1 meter high, and the table, and put the shitter in Stuart Brisley's glass of water. And then he wipes his hand on the stage and goes and sits back down. I'm like, oh, what? Like, he'd been eating really a lot of beetroot as well, because this was like that kind of beetrooty colour. And the people organising it, no one's moved. Everyone's carrying on with the talk, the debate. But he's got a co-conspirator with him.
Yeah.
Her name is Barbara Kruger, and she's Austrian. So she comes up to the, and she's got a packet of pistachio nuts, and she takes a pistachio nut out the packet and puts it on her thumb with her forefinger, about to flick it, about a foot away from the Stuart Brisley's head.
Yeah.
And in slow, like it's happened in slow motion, and she just flicked it, and it pinged right in his forehead. And she says to him in her Austrian kind of accent, "Though you like nuts." What the fuck? Who are these people, man?
And what come of it?
Oh,
you can't just stop there.
oh, like it kicked off, and then like there's a report online about there's a journalist writes a review of the whole thing, everything. Yeah, a few weeks later, I was doing this performance about knife crime. So I'm lying down in Brick Lane, and I've got a big knife in my belly, and I got a white t-shirt covered in like red paint, and I'm lying down in the road, like it was, what was the project called? Stabbed to Death. So I'm lying down in a row. It was about knife crime, and I had my eyes closed, and I heard, standing above me, I heard this guy go, "Do you think this is performance?" He's Russian. "Do you think this is performance art?" And I open my eyes and I go, because I saw him 2 weeks ago, I said to him, "Fucking Alexander Brenner." And he completely denies that it's him. Like, I just been like friends with him for a little while. And he came like to this thing, but he does lots of shitting performances. He got 3 years in Russia for, he spray painted a Vladimir Malevich white cross on a white background with spray painted green with a US dollar. He goes into the gallery, and on video, if you look him up, his name's Alexander Brenner, YouTube it. He's got a big fucking stick, and he just walks into the gallery and just starts smashing. He just starts smashing all the paintings. Wow. Big stick. Yeah, I always show my students whenever I start first day. I'll just show them that, because you know, the guy's, he always goes on about a Gamban. I don't know what he's on about, but he's just this really antagonistic, anti-art, anti-fucking people. Yeah, I like this kind of attitude. I like Charles Bukowski. Do you know him? He's very misogynistic and a very nasty guy, but he got battered as a child, and he had really bad acne. He got hospitalized, so he was already brutalized by the world before but he hated everyone. He's a really good poet and just writes this fucking fuck everyone. And yeah, I don't know, I quite like the nihilism in art as well. Yeah. And yeah, and I like all that stuff about not, I like Gwen John. I like her painting of Dorelia. Yeah, I like all that, like, you know, anyone and everyone who makes art, I kind of got respect for. Alison Lapper's fucking, you know, but I, you know, I like Tracy Emin. She's like fucking full on. I had a bit of a time with her where we had a good chat about everything.
She's cool, isn't she?
Yeah, and you know, like she's doing this thing down Margate where it's like she's offering a frame, a screen. She's got all sorts fucking. She's got everyone down there like painting. I want to go down there and see her, but just haven't managed it. You know, yeah. Damien Hirst, he's a bit of a cunt though. I don't know about him, but you know,
keen on him.
He's just kind of like fucking. He's got like mass producing things, and he's got a skull. But you know, Andy Warhol mass produced things. I do like Andy Warhol as well.
He's the most popular on here, Mark.
Who, Andy Warhol?
Yeah.
Yeah, I really like. So he's got this philosophy: A to B and back again. And he's like, it's Andy, and he wrote this. It's all his notes. So the phone rings, and he's taking it. Hello. The guy says to him, "Oh, Jordan jumped off the building and killed himself." And Andy says, like, "Oh, I wish he'd have told me. I could have filmed it."
Full of compassion. Yeah, everything's art, right?
Yeah, it's like, it was proper out there kind of. Yeah, I like all the Dadaists as well. I like Alfred Jarry, who did Ubu Roy at the start before, like Joanna's Barder and the Lectress as well. They're really cool. But Malcolm McLaren and all them, they had a thing called King Mob. It was very interesting kind of like group. They, so 1968, they all dress up as Father Christmas and go to Selfridges, and they start taking the presents. Sorry, they start taking the toys off the shelves and giving them to all kids, like random kids in the shop.
Brilliant.
They go, "Happy Christmas, and happy Christmas to you. Here, take this really big, massive, hey, go on, that's yours. Happy Christmas from Father Christmas." The store, they had to fucking call the police because they're going, "Oh, you can't just give fucking." So, like, those kids, they like, Father
what
Christmas.
A dilemma for the store, right?
Yeah, and like they were like Father Christmas handcuffed, Do you know what I mean? Pulled his beard off, pulled his hat off, being dragged away. Imagine the trauma those kids, you know what I mean? 5 or 6 seeing that.
That is amazing. That's brilliant, isn't it?
King Mob, yeah.
Superb.
So there's alternative art as well. There's alternative art history. You know, we always get taught this kind of like, you know, from Renaissance and Van Gogh and everyone. But there's other things, do you know what I mean? There's other ways. I mean, it's full up now, the internet. It's fucking, if you start looking at art, there's so much art. But then there's like dance, music, there's all sorts of stuff going on, poetry. You know, it's really nice. And it's really undervalued in this country and not, you know, but people are finding ways and means to like support themselves now. So that's good. What's the art of drug then, Gary?
No, the drug of art.
The drug of art.
There's a lady called Victoria Holden, who's a friend of mine and Ali's. She met Ali, was inspired about her story with Paris and how art can help people along the journey of their mental health.
Cool, so that's amazing.
So the initial idea was to create workshops for young people, just to let them experience art. As soon as you start, you move from your world into this creative world, and back again, just like you were saying earlier on about the social subscribing. Yeah, so that's what we do. We invite people to workshops, schools, groups, whatnot. You know, it's only in its infancy.
Yeah, it sounds. I think like I mean, there's lots of stuff goes on here, like trying to engage people with, you know, had a few people now coming into the live lounge, and you know, one really non-verbal person like speaking the other day. It was extraordinary.
Well, let me just ask, Mark, so sorry to butt in there. If I was walking up the steps to the Bethlehem Gallery, what do I see before me?
Oh, it's just like a fucking, exactly how you described it, a squat. So it's mad as well, because you've got this really formal building, really kind of quite. So actually to come in visually, it's overwhelming. You know, there's a lot of stuff going on. It's quite cluttered. You know, there's lots of paintings on albums.
And what is good about it as well, Mark, you saying it's visually loud.
Yeah.
Outside is very calm as well, isn't it? In that environment outside the door.
Yeah.
So you're going back into the live lounge now.
Yeah. Yeah, we got guitars and what's this other? Oh, I've got karaoke mic, and also brilliant. I've got like I've got a stylophone.
So people can just walk into the space. They see hangings on the wall. They see. If I remember rightly, there's album covers created by residents. Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. We've also got like performances. So we do live lounge. Today we've got film club. So we've been screening films. Did Joy Division first one. That was really tough stuff because the guy, Ian Curtis, he kills himself. But it was a documentary. We're doing Amy as well. But we've got Jubilee. We've got Cocksucker Blues, which is a bit like this film about the Rolling Stones, which is a bit close to the mark. Jubilee, Derek Jarman. We're just screening lots of different films or anything that we can find on YouTube, you know, just free films and that. But we've got Walkmans here as well. I bought a couple of Walkmans. We've got excellent. We've got DAT tapes, mini DV. Do you remember those?
Yeah,
mini Make shakers with the kids. We've got like pasta. Couscous is quite good, actually. Lentils, so you can put things in there, all make different sounds. Yeah. We got a record player. We got our own album. Have I shown you the album?
You did. It's amazing. How cool is that?
Other records as well. We've got zines. Yeah.
And you've got, I don't know whether you've had or you've got Martin Ware performing.
Yeah, he's been here already. He's like from Heaven 17, Human League.
He was on this podcast.
Oh, was he?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. He's a really cool guy. He's really nice. He's very kind of like giving as well. Yeah, he came here the day before. He was in he'd done a sound piece in in New York in the World Trade Center. came here for a day, and then 2 days later he was in Pasadena. So yeah, he gets around. I know, but it's so nice he came here. But even when he came here, he was really overwhelmed, and he said it's such amazing space and that.
And when's it on till, Mark?
July the 13th. We did like our own. So this is a punk T-shirt. We did our own T-shirts, and we did a session with Julie Verhoeven, who's a really extraordinary artist. Yes, we got like redesigned all these music T-shirts.
Brilliant.
Oh, you can't see them. Oh yeah. Anyway, yeah, and we're going to do like, so we got a festival in the grounds. We're also going to do Pride as well. We're going to have like a Pride march. We're going to walk around the grounds of the Bethlehem. We're going to like make costumes and dress up and celebrate being queer, LGBT, the day before London Pride. But I was saying, even if there's only 5 of us, you just set off. We need a trumpet player to play like a, and we can just walk around. Yeah, when I was at Camberwell, we did a protest, right? We called the police and said we're going to protest, and the protest was against the sky on the grounds that it was too big and we could have so much more schools, more hospitals. So we did this banner where we just cut out the words "No Sky." So that was the whole project was called No Sky. I did it with a guy called Paul O'Kane. And we had this trumpet player who played a really sad lament. We did a silent march. There was one policeman, and we walked in the road and held up all the traffic, walked up Shenley Road, down around, back down.
Super.
And did a speech outside Southwark Town Hall. People gathered here today, and it was like we handed in a petition to the local council and said, like, even if they could do anything about it, they won't. Yeah. We're going to have
How
a
many
pride
were on the
march.
petition?
Oh, there was like a good 10, like 7, 8, maybe 7, 8 people. Yeah, there was a reporter there. There was a reporter who came on his bike, so he was pushing his bike along. I remember it just through photographs. But yeah, that was a really good project. But yeah, we're going to do a Pride march, something similar to that.
And what else have you got? I know you've just mentioned a whole bundle of stuff. But
well, we got the election.
What else have you got coming
6 weeks. Yeah, I'll be like doing like non-stop political stuff about the election, like get rid of the Tories. Do you know what I mean? Fuck Keir Starmer too. We'll be doing all that. I saw this really, really brilliant. Do you know Houseman Books in Caledonian Road?
No.
So it's just like this. I was went to pick my daughter up at King's Cross, but anyway, I walked around to see Houseman Books. It was closed, but I just wanted to look in the window. But close by it, there was this poster which had been fly posted onto the wall, and it just said, "Don't vote. It only encourages them." Like, yeah.
A mate of mine was putting on a group exhibition called Voting Schmoting.
Yeah.
It was an open to anyone who wanted to be a part of it. But I'd had one that I'd sort of created more or less every other year. In my area, Romford, the local Conservative club is called Margaret Thatcher House.
Oh, Jesus.
And it's exactly. And it's sort of written in stone above the door, above the arched door. And I took a photograph of myself sitting on the doorstep of this big house, and I'm looking very grumpy. The artwork is that photograph, and underneath there's an envelope, and inside the envelope is a application to become a Tory member, all filled in by me and signed. So whoever bought this artwork could, if they wanted to, make me a Tory member for a year. And it was to do with like how politicians just sort of sell their soul for a few quid, or for votes, turn their morals on a penny, for a shilling, if you like. And a few of them have sold, and luckily, so far as I'm aware, no one's gone through with it and made me a Tory.
Fantastic. I was gonna sing "Don't Cry for Me, Argentina." Let me just turn the microphone on. 1, 2.
Well, I'll tell you what I'll do, Mark.
Yeah.
If I thank you very much for your time and tell you how much I've loved speaking to you, would you sing us out with that?
Yeah, I will. I need my phone to put it onto the karaoke mic. So the song's about Eva Peron, who died quite a long time ago. She was the wife of Mr. Peron, who was the president of Argentina. I had to let it happen. I had to change. Couldn't stay all my life down a hill, looking out of the window, staying out of the sun. It's written by Andrew Lloyd Webber and Tim Rice. So I chose freedom, running around, trying. What do you think, Leon? Trying. Good. Do you like it? You're going to come in with a chorus. All right. It's called Don't Cry for Me, Argentina, right? Don't cry for me, Argentina. The truth is I never left you. All through my wild days, my mad existence, you kept your promise. Don't keep your distance. Gary, you swinging. He's got like a luck. Nice.
Well, I don't smoke, but I've got a coal fire, and that was near me, so I thought I'd put a little flame on as well.
Hold on. Put that back up again. Screen grab that. Right, got that. Nice one, Gary.
Thank you very much, mate. Well, Mark, thank you very much for your time. Tell us again about the Live Lounge, where they can find it, and when it closes.
Okay, the Bethlehem. Oh, let me get off that. The Bethlehem Live Lounge is on until July the 13th. It's at the Bethlehem Gallery, which is Monk's Orchard Road, Beckenham, Bromley, BR3 3BX. We're open Wednesday to Saturday from 9:30 till 5. We've got lots of events on every day, so come down. June the 8th is the Bethlehem Gallery Festival, aka Mark's 60th birthday party.
All right, thank you very much, mate.
Thank you too.
See you soon. All the best. Ta-da, mate. Brilliant.
What's going to happen to all my stuff? What's going to happen to all my stuff when I die? All the memories, all the little photos, all the little trinkets brought back from faraway places. The bed that I built, the crockery, the cups, the bowls, the Black Madonna of Tindery, Being an Event, Alain Bajou, the photos, the one of Tiny in New York dressed up with the Statue of Liberty outside Radio City. My Sergio Tacchini collection, the unit that I made with the floating oak shell with the plastic orange back, the Anthony Iten painting of the flower cellar from 1948. What's going to happen to all my stuff when I die got me thinking, just because Mum had asked. Kim called her auntie's stuff that she collected over the years poor people's treasure. Siobhan said she was told, go through the cupboards and take what you want, because we're going to burn everything. It's so sad that we go through our whole lives collecting things and we can't take nothing with us. But we want people to look after our stuff with respect. The thing is, everyone already has a mountain of things. They can't expect people to take on more. I found a box once, and there was all sorts of letters and things inside. I gave it to my student, Luke Droids, and years later he contacted me and said he'd written a book about this magic box. I remember giving him the box and saying, you are the keeper of this box, of this stuff now. Xavier in the writing group said that everyone's stuff ends up down Deptford Market and people buy it, the bric-a-brac, and it becomes theirs now. Bric-a-brac is French, miscellaneous objects and ornaments of little value. That's Mum's issue, isn't it? All her things mean everything to her. The Royal Albert bought from Jones and Higgins in Peckham, the big picture of Dad, his framed Arsenal shirt signed by Arsene Wenger and Thierry Henry, the Waterford crystal glasses, her precious table and chairs and dresser that she paid off monthly by working as a carer in Brixton. as a home help, as they called them back in the day, running up and down the cold harbour lane. She used to take me on Saturdays and I would sit and chat to Mr. Christmas from Bristol. I brought in my Shoot football magazine and I'd finish reading it and give it to him. Now it's Mum who needs a carer, and one day it will be you and me who needs a carer, if you're lucky. And it will be you who wonders what's going to happen to all my stuff. The thing that we are scared of is losing our memories, both physical and the ones inside our heads. Our stuff belongs to the world. They're all the traces of us and collected in one place. The fear is it's not just our stuff that will be gone, but us too. We are the ties that bind all these beautiful, gorgeous, shiny little big objects together. We are the keepers of our own magic boxes. A place we call home, a home so precious that we fear the vultures and crows and magpies will come and clean it out. And a great fire will be set and it'll get burned down to the ground on the same day we are burned, sent to the great fires of heaven and hell in the chapel of remembrance at the crematorium. And there'll be no memories, no bric-a-brac, just ashes.
Well, I hope you enjoyed that episode of the Ministry of Arts podcast. It's a podcast that's produced with the help of the listener. And if you like what you've heard and you think you might be able to give a little support, there's two ways in which you can do it. If you go over to the Ministry of Arts Instagram profile, you'll find a Linktree drop-down box. And in that box, you'll find two links. One is called Buy Us a Coffee, and it's pretty much that. You can make a one-off payment, the price of a cup of coffee. Or, if you're able and want to do it more long-term, you can become a Ministry of Arts Patreon, where you can sign up to support us on a monthly basis. And 100% of your support goes back into the podcast. And if you're not able to do that, that's absolutely fine. This content is free for everyone. But we would urge you to follow us on your socials and show us a bit of love that way. Either way, thanks for listening and see you next time. Ta-da.